The sexual marketplace, when it comes to women, if women are the product, men are the ones that demand, and vice versa.
Men
Strengths
look
of
at
competence.
things differently.
Yes. If you are very successful career-wise, you can also be successful in terms of relationship. Education is not just supposed to fashion you into a factory worker.
Yeah, sure.
It's also about being a well-adjusted human being who understands and who can navigate life in a competent way. Most of the times, these women who speak, they're very smart, they can speak very well. That does not translate to relationship success.
There are books that comfort you and there are others that confront you. And this is one of them. To tell the truth, I read this book angry. Like, Jacob, why are you attacking me? Why are you attacking women? Shida yako ni gani? Well, my name is Shiko Cosmas and this is Beyond the Pages. We are coming to you live from the Westwood Hotel. Are you looking for a hotel where you can go read that book? Are you looking for a hotel where you can go hold that conversation? Then this is the place. Look nowhere else but Westwood Hotel. Right about now, Jacob Aliet, the man who is attacking women on the streets. Not really so, but yeah, he is the bestseller of the book Unplugged in Kenya, both local and international. And he is here with us. Karibu sana, Jacob.
Thank you so much, Shiko.
Asante. I want to give you the privilege of introducing this book. This is one of the books that every man should read.
Yes.
That every woman should read. Whether you read it smiling, crying, but this is one of the books you should read. And the reason why I love it so much is because I have a son. I have nephews. I have brothers. I have men around me. And then there are so many women around me that need this book. Tell us about this book.
I wrote Unplugged in 2022. And what inspired me to write the book is because I had friends whose marriages ended during the COVID crisis. And these guys, some of them had attended their weddings. I was part of the wedding committee. And so it made me do a deep dive into what is it that causes attraction and desire? Why do people fall in love? What are the forces that keep marriage intact? Why do people divorce and things like that? The time I was doing the research, I was not interested in writing a book. But when I felt I'd spent enough time on the subject, I told myself, wait a minute, I've discovered so much. I need to write a book about this. So the book is about several forces from ideologies like feminism. Evolutionary psychology is a big part of it because it's what gives us the blueprint of the desire between men and women. I'm also looking at intersexual dynamics. I'm looking at pop culture. I'm looking at religion. And I'm also looking at the society just in terms of our cultures and things like that. And a big part of the book also is about what is it that makes men men and what is it that makes men women, and what's the difference between these two genders, and what has the mainstream media been telling us. And then ultimately it's also guiding men to become better men. The book has received different reviews. Some people like it, others don't like it. But what is very interesting also about it is that there are women who've read it and they buy it for their sons. But they are very clear. They tell me, I don't want my husband to read this book. So they tell me, mzee na istaki aone kitabu. But for their sons, they get copies for them.
That's an interesting one. Oh, okay. Okay. This book is diverse. I don't know where to start from. But maybe let me start from here, because you're writing this book because you want to save marriages. Marriages are breaking at a very high rate. And you kind of say you have a solution for it. And, most people get into marriage with the wrong narrative about it. I have heard jokes that people listen to a song, this song we used to listen to, I can be a hero, baby. They got marriage waiting for that man to be a hero. And so many other, all these songs that people have listened to. And once you get into marriage, it's different. We are here because we are married and I'm for marriage works. So that is why we are here. But when you get inside, you find it's different. Last week, I was watching an interview from one of the Bishop Lai, and he was saying, marriage does not work. Why? He laughed and then he said, why? Because marriage, you have to work for it to work. So it does not necessarily work by itself, but you have to work for it to work. Okay. And he said, yeah, by the way, that's so true. And I want us to start here. The book starts by talking about things we have been taught wrong, about marriage, about love. And we got all this from the movies, as I said, the songs, the peers, the culture. What is one biggest lie, one fat lie that people have been taught about marriage and love that you can speak boldly about?
Yeah, thank you for the question. One of the biggest lies that we've been told about marriage is that marriage makes you happy.
Yeah.
That marriage can make you happy. And I think I mentioned it in the book, particularly the way Hollywood and the Western media, they sell marriage to women particularly. Because what you'll see is that like when they talk about the red carpet, these events like Oscars, the Grammy Awards, all these events where you have all these big shots and the famous people coming, they look particularly at the women. They look at the woman, and if she's not happy, they say, oh, you see, so-and-so doesn't look happy. I think the husband does not make her happy. Yeah. So it's like women are being sold this idea that when you're married, it's the job of your husband to make you happy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and that is one major thing that makes marriages fail. And it puts men in a very difficult situation to sustain their marriages because many men feel responsible. As I speak to you now, I'm torn between promoting marriage or just saving men. Because there are also people who treat marriage, particularly traditionally, marriage is treated as an endurance sport. Like, hey, if someone tells you I've been married for 30 years, like, wow, 30 years. It's like but who are you? You're married 30 years, fine, but who are you? Are you an authentic person to yourself? Are you pursuing your purpose? Are you living? Are you happy? Like there are men who work so hard to maintain their marriages, but they sacrifice their health. You see, you find a guy is there. Yes, he's married for 30 years, but he has a big stomach. He has high blood pressure. He has ulcers. He's not looking at himself. He's just looking at this marriage as a hill that he's going to die on. So I'm finding that more and more nowadays, I'm talking about teaching men how to become sovereign beings.
Yeah.
Sovereign in the sense that you are able to decide how you will live your life. You decide what you want. You decide what makes you happy. You become authentic, as opposed to just fitting in so that your marriage can survive. Yeah.
I like about that when you talk about happiness. I've heard people ask one another, are you happy? If you're not happy, go. They go to the next man. Are you happy?
Yeah.
If you're not happy, go. So women have been moving from one man to another, seeking for happiness, not knowing that love and marriage does not come with happiness.
Yeah.
You have to be happy yourself
for
it to be, make it work, and for you to be happy.
Yes.
So both of you have to come with your happiness. I come with my happiness. Let's make this happy place.
Yes.
It's been a wrong notion, actually.
Yes. So actually, I say what makes happy marriages is when two happy people come together and get married.
Two happy people come together and get married.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. We move a little bit to the book itself again. We are going bit by bit so that you can be able to buy this book. We just bit by bit here and there, so that go and get this book. You talk about women with victim mindset, where when things go wrong, they are the first one to cry. We can cry loud. If we start crying, both of us, I'm sure I'm the one who's going to cry the loudest. And women have been the one in forefront, crying out loud. And you talk about it, about when women have this victim mentality. Could you just talk about it a little bit?
Yes, particularly I think this is a subject that is easy to understand.
Yeah.
Since we're in Nairobi, you know about the story, mention any names, whose there were videos that were going around the way she was not wearing her undergarments, and immediately people blamed the man who shared the video. Many weeks later, after people had condemned the man, they realized it's actually the woman who shared the video, and she was trying to promote her OnlyFans account. You see, but by that time, people had condemned this guy. They were calling the employer to fire the guy. And of course, behind this outrage was what we call the sisterhood. Women particularly were the ones expressing the greatest outrage, what we call fabricated indignation. They are very indignant about this. Oh, men are abusing these women, or blah, blah, blah. So our culture has promoted female victimhood, and women, of course, have really embraced it, where when anything goes wrong, it is always assumed that the woman is a victim. And many times when the investigations later reveal that the woman was not the victim. For example, there was a time there were young professional ladies who were fighting in a hotel in Nairobi, and a video footage was shown. They were fighting, they were drunk, and so on. And people blamed the men, that these men were the ones who were instigating this violence, even though it's the women who are fighting. But later now, when the full CCTV footage was shown, people realized that the men actually were telling these women not to fight. But by that time, the men had already been vilified and so on. So that is one of the cultures or practices we have in our culture, that we don't want to hold women accountable. And unfortunately, because of that, it also... Once you take female agency from themselves, when they can't be responsible for their mistakes, they also cannot be responsible for their happiness. You see, that's the other side of the sword. So it also means if these women are not in control of their emotions and of the events in their lives, then it is still men to make women happy when the women are not happy. So it perpetuates a cycle of misery for women. So women also need to understand that being held accountable is not necessarily patriarchy, but in the end, it also helps them. Because I normally say that when there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. So most of the times, actually, you find that when you're busy saying that someone is torturing you, patriarchy, and so on, most of the times it's because of you within yourself. You've not healed yourself. You don't know how to take care of your own happiness and so on. That's why you feel that it's someone else outside who is making you miserable.
And you give a good example about Will Smith and Jada. And it's in the book. It's not. It's in the book. It's not when everything happened between them. And Jada happened to be the one missing the way, and everyone is saying it's because of the man. You know, it's a culture that says it's because we are always the victims. We're the ones we are on the right, but when we mess the way, it's the man who have missed out. So what? It's a culture. It's a culture. It's formed that way.
It's part of what we do. We call it the feminine imperative. The feminine imperative basically is the ideology that everything female is good and it can never be bad. For example, when the suicide rates of men are increasing, they say, you see, the reason men are committing suicide is because they don't cry enough the way women cry. They don't talk enough the way women are talking to each other. So it's like when men are having problems, they should look at women. What are women doing? And we need to copy.
We need to do like the women are doing.
We need to do what the women are doing. Part of it, of course, is just trying to promote. It's, you know, feminism, when feminism took hold and it was accepted, part of feminism was to promote females and female way of life, female way of experiencing reality. You know, that is actually where it is coming from. So it was not just about giving women equal rights. It went further now and saying the ideal way of being a human being is by being female. That is what now we came from. There was a lady called Aliet who came up with Pink Brains, where they were saying that a man is basically a defective female. Because women are the blueprint of what a human being should be. But men, you know, with their testosterone and aggression and violence, men are basically women who are broken. So men need to learn to become women.
Like women.
So that is the ideology that actually is in the West. And it's also what brought about LGBTQ. At the end of the day, that is what leads to LGBTQ, where you're saying gender is a social construct. You're not really a man. You're actually a female. But those genitals of yours, they don't really make you a man. It's called blank slate equalism, where we're just blank slates, but gender is a social construct. You are taught how to be a man. Yeah, and so now they're teaching you now, you should actually learn to become a female, cry more, emote more, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
So when you're telling men, if you're under stress, just come and share with me.
Yes.
When you feel stressed, just cry a little bit. We are trying to force them to be.
Yes. But the good thing is, although women don't know this, the people who promote what they call toxic masculinity is actually women. It is women who enforce it, because you see, a man will be told it is okay to open up to your wife. If you are stressed, tell your wife you're stressed. It is okay. It is a strong man is a man who is not afraid to cry.
It is not okay.
Yeah. But when you go and cry in front of your wife, then now your wife is the one who will enforce it and tell you, no, I don't want a man who cry.
Yeah,
if you want to, now, if you're going to cry to me, will I cry to, and so on. Then the men realize very quickly, okay, it's not okay to cry before a woman.
Who is confused between the man and the woman? They tell them do this when they do it.
It is culture that is misleading men. But sometimes it is very fashionable for women to say some of these things. It's just the same way it's fashionable for young women. You talk to a young woman, what kind of a man do you want? They'll tell you, I want a partner. They don't want a husband. I want a partner. I want us to do 50-50. But when she actually gets married, then she finds a man who does 50-50. She realizes, I don't want this.
This is not what I want.
Yeah, but you see, it's so fashionable. When you talk about it, it sounds like a cool thing, but in reality, it is not cool at all. Yeah.
Let's go direct to what you're speaking about. You talk about 83% of men growing fatherless. That was a research you have written based on US. 43%, now still on that topic, are female teachers in the tertiary level. 66% female teachers in the primary level. 54% female teachers in secondary schools. And all these are female, a lot of them, who are shaping the young boys. And they shape them in a female perspective. So we are forcing men to be like women.
When you use the word force,
not like force, we are in a gentle way.
Yes. Yeah, so it is happening out of, I could call it, it's like a coincidence. Because, unfortunately, like when you go to kindergarten, women are considered to be better caregivers when you're looking at the young ones, toilet training, because women tend to be good at nurturing. They're much more gentle and so on. But that trend also peaks, also because many times, because teaching also doesn't pay very well. So many men, being the main breadwinners in their houses, they will prefer other jobs as opposed to teaching. So you find many women are the ones that take up these jobs of teaching at the lower primary levels. But now what happens when these women are also teaching these young boys, they don't realize that there are certain gender roles and gender norms that differentiate boys and girls. So for example, boys are very competitive, but these women teach them that you should not compete with your friends, you should just be the same.
It's try to equality.
Equality. Yeah, because women are very good at what we call egalitarianism, equality. And that's why women are good when it comes to serving food, everyone gets the same. And when you're competing, everyone gets a participation trophy. But men want who is the champion, you see? Because men differentiate themselves through competence. And so they kill the competitive spirit, and sometimes boys like rough housing. That's how they develop competences in terms of strength and so on. So you are told, don't do that. You're being very rough. You're hurting your friends and so on. So in a sense, boys, when they're growing up, they find themselves in bodies that are not accepted in the environment. You're told you're too aggressive, you're competing too much, don't do this, don't do that, you need to settle down. And many times that is why you find all these cases of people being diagnosed with ADHD. Sometimes it's just a boy being a boy, but because the female teacher is not able to understand this, they think there's something wrong with this boy. Okay? So you find they're diagnosed, they're hyperactive and things like that. So what happens is, in the end, when these boys grow up, they enter teenagehood, they are confused because everything that appears natural to them is not accepted, is being pushed back, and so on. And that is why a number of them, when they enter early adulthood, they're confused about their identity. They get into drugs, into alcoholism, and so on. Because everything that is about them that is natural, they find that they need to suppress it so that they can fit in. And that's why you find if you go to high schools particularly, you can address a group of students. And when you're done, when you ask them, does any questions, the hands that shoot up, it's the girls. The girls are very outspoken and so on. Yeah. And the boys are withdrawn. They're just quiet.
Silent.
Yeah.
The ones were supposed to be vocal.
Yes. Yeah. So that is one of the consequences of that. So, and even these boys, you find in the end, they're not very ambitious. If you look at our Kenya National Examination, KCSE, KCP, the girls are slowly outstripping boys in terms of performance. Even in the university, the registration of the girls are now increasing. The boys feel that there is no need to continue competing and so on.
Do you think there's any solution coming? Because it's starting down there from the kindergartens now.
Yeah. The first thing, of course, is to recognize that there's a problem.
Yeah.
And what has happened is that the society right now, it treats masculinity as toxic. You know, there's no toxic femininity, but there's always toxic masculinity. Yeah. And when you look at toxic masculinity, it's just traditional masculinity. The masculinity that encourages men that it is okay to be strong, to be ambitious, and so on. So the first thing is to realize that there's a problem, and then there can be a concerted effort, both by government and all relevant stakeholders, to make sure that the boys get the right mentorship, and especially as they come of age and they enter adulthood, they can get the right male mentors. And then this idea of toxic masculinity needs to be, it needs to be addressed in a forthright manner.
Yeah.
You see, for example, we have gender-based violence right now, but you see, they blame it on toxic masculinity. But you see, if you look at the way patriarchy used to deal with things, patriarchy will hold men accountable. Like if you make a girl pregnant, you have to marry her.
Sure.
Nowadays, there's no patriarchy. You make a girl pregnant, you disappear. That's why we have so many single mothers, because there's nobody holding men accountable. Yeah, so we need to, as a society, agree that there's a problem, and then we address it. Yes.
From the tertiary level.
Yes.
Imagine that kid, she's with a female teacher throughout the whole day.
Yeah.
She goes back to a nanny the whole day. As a father, you come back home quite late, just a few minutes. You leave early in the morning again for a whole sequence of time with a woman. So it's going to frame his mind.
Yes, and you see, this boy, when he's young, maybe even pre-puberty, he can decide one day, out of curiosity or just being a child, he wears the dress of his sister or of the house girl.
Yeah.
And then he's told, wow, you're looking nice. You know, most of the times, women, even if you look at social media, they don't get outraged when men behave like women. Like when a boy puts on lipstick, the men will be very annoyed, but the women will say, but then it doesn't look bad, you know? So you'll find he's being encouraged to embrace his feminine side. And that also increases a lot of confusion in terms of gender identity among boys. So even many of the boys who grow up raised by their single mothers, you find this issue of gender fluidity also increases a lot, because mom is in charge, mom is the one who does shopping, mom goes to work, mom is the one who punishes, mom does everything. He starts admiring his mother and slowly starts thinking, okay, mom puts on lipstick, mom has long hair, mom puts on jewelry, earrings, and so on. And many boys start now imitating their mothers. And that's why even when they grow up, you find you have a young man who has a girlfriend, but he has no problem having the girlfriend paying the rent and doing the shopping, because he grew up with a woman in charge.
Sure.
So he doesn't see a problem with a woman being in charge. So the girlfriend or the wife takes the role of the mother. The mother was playing. So it perpetuates itself. And women eventually are the ones who really get frustrated, because women also want strong men.
When you are coming to that. Well, there's a song. Everyone knows about it. All the single ladies.
Yes.
And this song, it was trying to force a certain way of life. And in between that song, there's a time they were doing the song. In your book, you write, then someone else come and ask, all the single ladies who are happy, hands up. And no one up their hand. And right now, you're moving to a point where there are so many single ladies. They don't want to get married. They don't want a man. They just want to get a kid. And then it's okay. It's like mashida. That's what they're saying. They just want to be alone. What are the challenges that are coming up with being a single lady who is rising up? We have sons in the society. These men are raised by single women, and all the challenges that come with the single womenhood. Talk about
what happens.
Talked so well in the book.
So when when women are young and they have their money and they are beautiful, career women, they have access to men. So most of the times, even if you have a child, you're a single mother, you will not find that challenge getting a man. But most of the times when this child grows up and moves out of the house, most of the time that's when these women, they start now getting the bite of being single. Okay? A number of them buy dogs and cats and teddy bears and so on, what we call surrogate husbands. But most of them end up miserable now in their 50s and 60s. Because most of the times women thrive through connection. Okay? You see, for example, men, even if you look at childhood, the boy will want to play with his toy or a car and so on.
Yeah.
The girl will want a doll. Yeah. Okay, some people think that is a society influencing femininity, but in the end, most women feel fulfilled when they have families around them. It is men who thrive on toys or objects. Okay?
Yeah.
We are not the same, but now society teaches women that they can be like men. That if you also have a Mercedes, you can feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
And that can be true, but up to some extent. You see, even if you look at the animal kingdom, most of the times, even if you look at the lions, for example, after mating, it is the female gets pregnant, the female raises the kids. The fathers don't even play any part. In fact, some of them disappear and they never come back. But the way we are the way our DNA is, our blueprint is such that females thrive when they have a community around them. And even when, if you look at, for example, lions and even buffaloes, when the male is old, it is left behind and it dies alone. But females normally stay in the herd up to the last minute because they're the ones that raise the herd. So I mentioned, for example, the case of Kevin Samuels used to say that he tells women that they can buy a dog and die alone. Most of the times men die alone. But women are not designed to die alone. Even if you look at the homeless people in the streets, most of the times if you look at someone who is older, it's normally men.
Yeah.
But homeless women are not very common in the streets.
Yeah.
And most of the times the governments and other societies, they put them in shelters.
Yeah, shelters.
They take them into shelters, because men are the disposable sex. But women are the protected sex or the valued sex. Because women normally have the capacity to grow the community. So even when it comes to things like wars, it's men who go to die in the battlefield. So women are very valuable, but at the same time, society teaches them that they can be like men. But you see, in the process, they devalue women in that process because women are not as disposable as men. I give so many examples there of tragedies that actually shows even the government, the way it treats men is not the same way it treats women.
And that is why in that song, that day when Beyonce is performing that song, when they say anyone, all the single women, anyone who is happy as a single woman to raise their hand, no one raises their hand because it's a notion being sent out there that being independent, you're going to be happy. But in reality, that day it shows that no independent woman is happy. They are not something happy. Missing.
Yes, because women thrive through connections. Men thrive through achievement. And that's one of the things that we need to teach our boys, because a boy who is not taught that what makes him valuable is achieving, those are the boys who sit at home with the remote as the girlfriend is at work, and the girlfriend comes at home in the evening finding him watching Netflix, and she gets very, very frustrated. It's because this boy was disconnected from his masculinity.
Wow. And that day when now it shows it plainly, even in the book you say it so well. There is no, they may try to bring this notion that independent woman, you'll be happy. Single ladies, I don't know what they are being independent from. You have asked so well in the book. What are you independent from? Single ladies, you are going to be happy when you are alone. And truth be told, there's no happiness in that. Also, in page 63, there's a cauldron of plain and shattered dreams is what birthed modern woman. The modern woman is the careerist worker and not a wife. The modern woman who values independence and her masculine. The modern woman who sees men as utility and not leader. The modern woman who would rather be side chick or a baby mama than be married to an average Joe, and who thinks submission will bring her harm, was created by men who dropped the ball. I'm not the one who has written this. They are independent ladies who will be listening to this. You say they are all mixture in this book. And then there's still another one, the second wave of feminism. That was the first wave, where men who dropped the ball wrote about this. And then there is this. We can no longer ignore that voice within women that says, I want something more than my husband and my children and my home. They brought out this, that there are women, now you reach to a point where you want something more beyond my husband. You want something more beyond the children. You want something more beyond the home. So you encourage them to live and become the single women and the independent women. And you have talked about all the challenges about that. Yeah. So what is like the most you have talked about now the way you have talked about where women go, you die old with a dog, the loneliness that comes with it. Maybe what are the challenges that these women trying to follow that path, they cannot see? It's hidden, it's veiled from their face. Yeah.
We need to look at the consequences, and particularly in urban areas, because in urban areas is where most career women live. In the rural areas, even when you find women who are single mothers, they're much more integrated in the society, and many of the times the attitude towards men is not the same as the women in urban areas. So I think it's about looking at the statistics. How are these women faring, and listening to them, because I've had there's so many interviews with several women in Hollywood who have been interviewed, the ones who chose the life of singlehood, and many of them actually regret it. I think one of the one who is outstanding, who I've never had this notion from her, is maybe Oprah. I've never had any Oprah maybe regretting choosing the single life. But several Black actresses who chose to be single, most of them actually regret it, because in every woman, for example, there's a womb, and what can come out of the womb, you actually will never know. It can be something that is so beautiful. Many women, once they go post-menopausal and they never had children, they look back and they regret and they feel, maybe I should have had a child at least, you know. So that happens. And then also just being left alone with your dog and your property. For many women, it fills them with a feeling of emptiness, because women thrive through connections. And that's why women are very good at sub-communication, reading body languages and things like that. Because in terms of the blueprint and the firmware of a woman, it's about connecting. It's about connecting. It's not about a life of being alone. Let me continue on that still, where we have from the book, page 38. It says statistics indicate that about 80% of mass shooters, who also happen to be incels, are young men from fatherless homes. You speak about, in 2015, Chris Harper, a 26-year-old man, fatally shot 8 students and a professor in Roseburg, Oregon. His parents were divorced. In 2014, Elliot Roger, a 20-year-old man, killed 6 people and injured 14 others by stabbing, shooting, and vehicle ramming them in Isla Vista, California. His parents were divorced. 1989, Mark Lepine, 25-year-old Canadian, killed 14 women and injured equal number at a polytechnic in Montreal, Canada. His parents were divorced, many of them. And you see now people or ladies are going for this notion, I just want a kid and I'm okay. You have addressed these challenges of raising men without a father figure in their lives. What would you say about that? Because it's increasing day by day. So one of the things that young men need to learn from their fathers is that you need to work as a man for you to get respect, for you to even get love in the society. You do not... women can be loved even if they don't work. That's why we have housewives, but you don't have house husbands. So sometimes that is something that the single mothers fail to impart on their boys. So that when this boy reaches teenage and he has no girlfriend, that's what we call incel, involuntary celibate, he doesn't understand that the reason he's not sexually appealing to girls is probably because he has not worked on himself. So instead, this frustration festers in him and it comes out in form of violence. And that's why you have these mass shootings. So it's very, very important for the boys particularly to grow around their fathers so they can know what masculinity is about and what society expects from men. That is something that many women are not able to impart effectively on the young boys.
You talk about the movie Waiting to Exhale. The way it's one of the things that's leading to singlehood to women. The way it shows that black man as a confused, unreliable, abusive, and they're trying to create it that being single is good. Leave your black men alone. There are notions that are trying to be put in our society, and it has its own effects. You have talked about it so well. And also about the singlehood and the women who wants to, in your books tell, the women who wants to first follow career and then after I make it, I'll think about it. You've talked about something called SMAV to women. Can you briefly talk about it?
Yeah, the sexual market value is so important. I think I've also drawn a graph there. Because there's something women really need to understand. And it's a principle of economics. It's about demand and supply. In the sexual marketplace, when it comes to women, if women are the product, men are the ones that demand and vice versa. So if you reach a stage where men are no longer interested in you, it means your value has dropped. Your sexual market value has dropped. It doesn't mean as a human being you're not valuable. You're still valuable. You could be having children, maybe you have a career, you're still valuable. But in the sexual marketplace, it is your value that has dropped. And when it comes to intergender dynamics, the sexual marketplace value is what we are interested in. So normally when your value has dropped and you're not able to get the men you want, that's what we call the wall. Some women say the wall does not exist and so on. And for men also, you see, like when a man is in his 20s, physically he's at his prime. Okay. But most of the time, men in their 20s are broke. Maybe they've just completed campus. They are at entry-level career jobs and things like that. Women in their 20s are not interested in those men. Those women want men in their 30s and 40s. So the men in their 30s and 40s are interested in these young women because these women are in their prime. Okay? So that is very important. So when women are being told, and this is so important, I hope women are going to watch this because you see, you'll find these messagings where there's maybe one case, 1 in a million of a woman who is pregnant in her 50s or 60s. They're telling, hey, you see, this woman is pregnant. So they're lying to us that when you reach menopause, you can't have children. Most of the times, those women either they have used IVF, okay? That is one thing, which is a very expensive procedure. And secondly, nobody talks about the kind of children they have. Okay? There is a reason why it's called geriatric pregnancy when you have your child at those ages. Most of these children are born with difficulties. And
you mentioned it, age clearly.
So when women talk about these things in social media, they really mislead each other. So you are being told, marriage can wait, prioritize your career first. So you find a woman is going to prioritize her education and career. Maybe by the time she's in her late 30s, then she feels now she can settle. By that time, the dating pool is very slim because if you are a successful woman in your late 30s, maybe you are mid-level, upper-level management. Men at that level are already all married. You're not going to get a single guy at that age. That is number one. The dating pool is very thin. And secondly, you have a lot of masculine energy. Masculine energy in the sense that you're very disagreeable, okay? And you have very high standards. At that time, you cannot allow a man to take you to a kibandaski. You want the guy to take you any dinner that costs maybe less than 5K. You're going to say this man is cheap. You see? So your standards are very high. Dating you is expensive. You are very masculine. You are difficult. You cannot enter a man's program. You cannot follow his lead and so on. So many women, they'll find they are successful. And then also many women think that if you are very successful career-wise, you can also be successful in terms of relationship. Most of the times, these women who speak, they are very smart, they can speak very well. That does not translate to relationship success. corporate success and relationship success, they need different
men
strengths
look
of
at
competence.
things differently.
Yes. Men look at things different, and men want different things.
So the more career woman you become, the more masculine.
The more masculine you become, and the less the men will be interested in you. You'll find men who are interested in you for fun. Okay?
Amazing.
Many career women are very fun people to be with. You can go out, you can have fun, go to nice places. But when it's marriage, you'd rather go for someone else. Because if it is marriage, she's going to give you a rough time as a man. She won't be able to cede leadership to you. She won't be able to follow your lead because she's accustomed to being a leader herself. She sets her own program. Maybe she also has men reporting to her. So who are you to tell me what to do, what time to come home, and so on?
So how do modern women balance?
So
they are climbing career ladders so quickly.
Exactly. So women need to realize that marriage is important.
Yeah.
That is a very important thing to realize, because right now, and research has been done where you interview women in college and universities and you ask them, what is the most important thing for you? Marriage comes number 7, number 9, and so on. They want to have a job, they want to own a house, they want to own a car, and so on. So women need to realize that, because unfortunately, there's something called a biological clock. And you see right now, women are being told biological clock is something patriarchy created to oppress them and so on. But it is not true. And
you draw the graph.
Yes.
And the most
the
years are crazy.
So women need to learn to prioritize marriage. Because you can pursue your career even when you're married. But if you make your marriage the first priority, you'll find once you've succeeded in terms of your career, it actually makes you unsuitable for marriage. It actually does. The strengths you need to thrive in marriage are normally weeded out in your career progression.
What's the solution?
The solution
right
is
now you're taking your daughter to school.
Yes.
To make her climb the highest ladder there can be.
You just need to.
And also, yes, I know marriage is part of it, but you see, if you ask any man or any person, where are you taking your girls to the best school? The answer is
but right now, like, education is not only for career. It's also just to learn to fit in the society, to become a well-adjusted human being. So it's not always about the career, and I think that's the other thing that we've had a lot of discussion also about CBC and so on. Most of the times, education is not just supposed to fashion you into a factory worker. It's also about being a well-adjusted human being who understands and who can navigate life in a competent way. So the fact that you're educated does not mean you should not get married. You need to realize that as a young woman, you need to get married when you are still young, and then you can pursue your career within the marriage. But you see, the Western culture teaches women that marriage can wait. That is where the problem is. Okay. Hypergamy.
Another great topic.
Yes.
That can bring a lot of discussion out of it. How do you talk about it without making men bitter? And what is hypergamy? The alpha and the beta in men.
So the thing about hypergamy, men who find hypergamy very distressing are men who we call the blue pill conditioned men. The men who have watched a lot of romance movies, the telenovelas, the soap operas, and they become so romanticized. And basically it's a wrong blueprint. Because you see, when it comes to a relationship, women have a greater reproductive cost to pay compared to men. Because the woman is the one who gets pregnant. The woman remains with the baby. So women have evolved to become practical. So when a woman pairs with a man, she has to think, can this man help me to raise a child? And that's where hypergamy comes in. But now that's what we call the beta back side of hypergamy. This man, the Kenyan women will tell you when they're breaking up with you if you're broke, that you mapenzi yako italisha mtoto. You see? Like, can a child eat your love? That's the beta back side of hypergamy. So women know that. But at the same time, women also want to have children that are of good genetic stock. Children who are strong, children who are good looking. Okay? If the woman is short, she wants to have children who are tall. Okay, things like that. So now that is the alpha seed. So hypergamy looks for both things at the same time, and you'll be very surprised, or maybe you won't be. Many women have no problem marrying a good man, an attractive man. We call them attractive men, because I also distinguish between being attractive and being desirable. She'll get an attractive man. That's a man who is dependable. Maybe goes to church, he has a good job, he's a polite, kind man. But if he does not have the alpha qualities, he will get the alpha seed from outside the marriage and get this man to raise the child. And for most women, that's a practical thing to do. They don't even feel it's a bad thing. And that's why many men fail paternity tests, at least 30% of them. That's why even in the Tanzanian parliament recently, they say that fatherhood does not need to be biological. So long as you have a child who is in your household, being a father is raising this child. It's not about whether you made this woman pregnant and so on. And even our president at one time said, mambo ya DNA wachaneni nayo, because it can break up families. If you start doing DNA from house to house to house, there are so many men who will realize that these children are not theirs.
It's becoming a crisis, right?
Yeah, it is a crisis. And every generation, within every generation, women pass 99% of their genes to the next generation. But men, it's only 40%. And this includes married men. Because women choose. That's why we say women are the gatekeepers of sex. Women choose who they're going to have children with. And sometimes it's not the husband.
Oh.
Yes.
This book.
So that is hypergamy. And women evolved, hypergamy evolved just out of practical reasons, because women have to find a way of raising these children, and women also have to find a way of having children and take care of them in future. Yes.
So hypergamy has been there.
It has always been there from time immemorial. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the book Unplugged.
Yeah.
From comforting lies to cold hard truths.
Yes, and lastly, the most important thing we teach men is that hypergamy does not make women evil, it just makes them practical, and they need to be practical. It's because women are practical, that's why we are here. Because if women will go around just having, getting pregnant with random men, then you'll find even the infant mortality rate will increase. Because many times women after childbirth, they need a lot of support. They need a supportive partner. They need resources. The child needs to eat, the woman needs to eat. So they need to pick the right man.
There's somewhere you talk about 80% of women going to the 20% of women men. Still under hypergamy.
Yes.
That is why there are so men who are trying to beg women to get married to them.
Yes.
And you don't need a woman to beg.
Yes.
If she wants to get married to you, she will get, you don't need to beg her.
Yes.
Talk about it, hypergamy.
Yes.
Ooh. Okay. To men, you abandon yourself when you stop working out. You abandon yourself when you stop taking care of your looks. You abandon yourself when you allow yourself to become obese. You abandon yourself when you have settled on that job that only affords you to live in one-roomed hovel and accept that as your life and your future. You abandon yourself when you become nice. You abandon yourself when you go to when you do what society expects you to do. You abandon yourself when you're sleeping for 8 hours a day, yet your bank account is empty. You abandon yourself when you smell like a pig. Whoa. Every time you reach for that bottle, you are an alcoholic. You're abandoning yourself by numbing your thoughts and feeling. You abandon yourself when you live a life without purpose. A mediocre life is an abandoned life. You abandon yourself when you're not 100% committed to the achievement of your purpose.
Yeah.
You tell the men.
Yes. So actually many people miss the point. One of the reasons this book resonates with the men is because of that kind of messaging. That is about the burden of performance. Men have about 7 to 10 times more testosterone than women. Testosterone is what makes men larger, faster, stronger, and so on. And it is for performance. So biologically, men are wired to take up the burden of performance. And we say that pressure was made for shoulders, not for hips. But you see now, because of LGBTQ and all this messaging, men are being told that they are the same as women, and we are not the same. So abandoning ourselves, that concept is very important. The word we use is stagnation, not stagnation, sorry, sedation. So for example, many men, for example, who are in terrible marriages, when they look at the sunk costs, they are the kids, maybe you have a business you own with your wife, you have a house, you've invested so much in this marriage, but you realize that you can never be respected in this marriage. Instead of these men dealing with this, they start taking alcohol, they become obese and so on. They abandon themselves because they have outsourced their agency. They have given up on themselves. And so this is what we call sedation. Sedation is just a way of making virtue become like, making something that is terrible to become like a virtue. You see, for example, people say, for example, that ndoa ni kuvumilia. That is one thing the society will teach you. So that is a form of sedation. Even when you're looking at the Shakahola massacre, where these guys were following the preacher, they're starving themselves to death. Many people do that even to their pastors, where you have your brain, but you stop thinking because pastor amesema. That's a form of sedation. Sedation also comes in form of, you see young men following politicians, or you are following the 9 o'clock news, you follow it religiously, you want to watch what is happening, you watch what we call suffering porn, okay? Or sedation can just come in form of all these European Premier League guys are watching these games. It's a form of hyper-reality, and you find that if your team loses, you find a guy goes home now, is miserable. Manze game ya jana bana tuli lose. And this is a guy who should be working to put money in his bank account. He's busy following what the football team performed. So that's a form of sedation. And the burden of performance, what it says is that men need to take it up and make sure that they are their best version. So any man, when you're sitting around, ask yourself, physically, is this the best version of you? Financially, is this the best version? Psychologically, mentally, are you reading the right books? Are you watching the right podcasts? Are you thinking the right thoughts? So all men need to seek excellence in their lives. That's what the burden of performance is all about. And what you find is that the way we are designed, women have menopause, but men don't have any pause. So we are designed
to
embrace the burden of performance into perpetuity. There is no break for men. There is no retirement. That is how we've been designed. So the burden of performance is something that men need to take and realize that the way the society values men is different from the way it values women. Women can be loved and respected and valued just for being women. But men are only respected and valued for what they can do to the society. So there's a big, big difference. And men need to realize that and take up the burden of performance.
Calling men to be who they're supposed to be, their best version. And telling the truth to the women right on their face is what this book is all about. You have talked about many things that what our fathers did not tell us. There's a man watching who wants to dating for marriage. And yet you have talked about many things that our fathers did not tell us in relation to dating and marriage. What is one thing you can tell that man?
One of the things, most of the times people think it's the woman. The woman is not really the issue. The most important thing you need to consider when you want to get married, or rather when you want to date considering marriage, you must have what we call the masculine frame. The masculine frame is basically the world in which the relationship happens. So the masculine frame is, as a man, you need to know who you are. You need to have a source of income. You need to become what we call your mental point of origin. That means all the decisions that you make should originate from you. For example, if you're doing something and someone asks you, say that is what the pastor said, then that means you don't have the masculine frame because you've outsourced your mental point of origin to the pastor. So as a man, you need to have your own worldview. You need to have parallel streams of income. You need to be guided by your own thoughts, not thoughts of other people or the society. You should not be seeking validation from outside. You become a sovereign being. Once you become sovereign and you understand female nature, then that is when you should be able to consider yourself ready for marriage. But also now we go further, we ask, why do you want to get married? It is very important to understand that if there's a problem that you're trying to solve by getting married,
it can never be solved.
You need to ask yourself, what is that problem? And that problem, is marriage the only way of solving it? Because marriage also comes at a cost. Because when you get married, you're no longer two people now. There are three people in that relationship.
Okay.
There is you, your wife, and the government.
Okay.
And the government and the wife are on one side, and you as the man, you are on the other side.
Okay.
And you normally say you cannot out-alpha the government. I have friends, for example, who, when they got divorced and the wife denied them access to the child, they said, I'm not going to pay school fees unless I can see my daughter, for example. And the wife tells them, you have to pay the school fees, you are the father. The guy says no. And he's summoned to court, and he says that I'm not paying fees because this woman is denying me access to the child. And this guy is taken to jail. This is happening in Kenya right now. So that's why I'm saying, if you want to get married, you need to ask yourself, what is the problem you're trying to solve? And is marriage the only way of solving that problem? Yeah. Because many men get married out of romanticism. And many times, actually, you'll find marriage kills romance. Yes. Because we have like at least 40% of marriages right now, they are sexless marriages. A sexless marriage is a marriage where these people don't become intimate for at least 3 to 6 months. It happens a lot even here in Nairobi. And that's why you find the side chick economy is a big part of this particular economy. So many married men are spending their money on side chicks because they're not able to get intimacy from within their marriages. Yeah, so you can, before you get married, you really need to reflect and understand whether the things you think you're going to get in marriage, you're either actually going to get them or whether you can get them without getting married. Yeah.
This is the views of Unplugged author Jacob Aliet, the book that is being bought so much on the streets in Nairobi and selling like crazy, if I would use that word, because of the things that are written here. Some will confront you direct on your face. Others are cold, hard truths that it says that our fathers did not teach us or teach the men. Well, which is one of the favorite parts or paragraph in the book that you would want to read out loud?
Yeah, I'm going to read one for you. But one of the things that men also don't like this book. There are men who don't like the book.
I thought you're speaking for the men. You're speaking for the men.
Because there's something called socio-sexual hierarchies within the society. Okay. We have men who are alphas and we also have men who are betas. Some men don't like that. And they think, why are you classifying men as betas and alphas and so on? Those are men particularly who don't understand that masculinity is something that you earn. Men think that just by being male, you're masculine. It is not necessarily the case. You can be a male without being masculine. And women know the difference between alphas and betas. And you see, for example, I know of female friends who will tell a man that I don't sleep with married men. Okay? When a married man tries to seduce them, tell I don't sleep with married men. But there'll be a married man that they'll sleep with. So we say that women make rules for betas and they break them for alphas. So many times women also make rules just to filter men. Okay? A woman will tell you, me, I can't go to a kibandaski. But when she meets an alpha, the alpha will take her to a kibandaski and she'll really enjoy her meal. So those are some of the things some men don't understand. But when we tell them, when a woman treats you like this, it's because you are a beta male. Some men don't like it, but it's a reality.
It's a classification that is there.
It is there.
And it is there. Just and it is as it is.
And it is natural. Yes.
As it is.
Yes. And the other thing you tell guys, a woman will tell within the first 7 seconds whether she can sleep with you or not. Some men don't believe that. Some men want to go with a woman for 7 dates, 6 dates, and so on. And they think that is normal. Okay, so those are some of the things we disabuse men of. And I tell women also that a date is an opportunity to tell whether there's any sexual chemistry between you and the man. Okay? If it's not there, just let the guy go. Don't tell him now another date, second date, third date, fourth date. Because most of the time I tell men, go for those dates, but tell her to pay. And you'll see how the woman switches. She will not want any other date with you. But so long as you are the one paying, she'll be able to tell you, well, let's go for another date. We go for a movie, we travel to this and that place and so on.
As you speak to men, you said there are some who are saying they don't believe with what you say. What's the reaction? Because you have had like one-on-one reaction on women when they read this book.
Okay.
Yeah. What has been?
The good thing about men is that, and you'll see it in the reviews, this is the most reviewed book on Nuria.
Yes, I've seen. It's been going round and round, and I wanted to know what is inside Unplugged.
Yeah, so many men, they say that reading this book is like being a punching bag. They being whipped and beaten and beaten. But most of the times the men say now, okay, here I effed up, here I effed up here, and they take responsibility and they change. But women, when women feel that they're afflicted by my content, they take up the victimhood thing. They say you are toxic. Why do you hate women? Why are you attacking us? And so, but many men, when they feel attacked, they look at it and say, is this true? If it is true, then they actually make the necessary improvements. They do the work. But very few women are able to do it in that particular way.
Okay.
Yeah. So most of the times they feel I'm too harsh for the men. That is, that I'm too harsh, that, life is not that serious and so on. But you see, when a man has raised his kids for 20 years, then maybe through a tragedy, sometimes it's through a road accident and you need to donate blood and so on, then you realize these kids are not yours. That's when men realize this thing is serious. Okay? When a man has invested 20 of his years raising another man's child and he thinks they are his, then he stumbles on the fact that these kids are not his. That's when they realize that this intersexual dynamics is a very serious issue. Because you say men tell a lot of lies
that people do not want to speak about.
Yes.
Judith Moregi, I bought my husband this book a few weeks after it was launched, and I can already see some change in behavior and attitude. You can even hear him quoting it during a call with his friends. Quite an influence.
Yeah. So it has, but it has had both effects.
Yeah.
This book has saved relationships, but it has also ended marriages. So it works both ways.
Okay.
I have friends. There's a lady who said that she wanted to leave her husband because this guy was just sitting around. He had lost his job, but he's just watching TV. He's not doing anything. But when she was thinking of telling her friend, by the way, nataka kuacha huyu nani huyu to me, I cannot be feeding a man every day. Then the friend told her, "Si umwambie asome Unplugged. Let him read Unplugged." So she got the guy the book, and the guy just changed. Started looking for a job. He stopped sitting around, and she said that it saved her marriage.
Because you call men to be the best version.
Yes, and to take up the burden of performance.
Yeah.
But there are also women who, like I did a men's conference last year. This guy was married, happily married in quotes. He read this book one day. He just went home. He packed his things in a bag, and he left. He went to Airbnb and started his new life. So sometimes it happens either way.
As I said, the book with the most mixed reactions.
Yeah, so it happens. Because one thing, the thing about men, one of the big things I have for men is situational awareness.
Yeah.
Many men lack situational awareness. We have men, for example, your wife goes out, she comes home even without her panties, you don't even know. She's behaving around her phone in a strange way. Men don't know how to notice these things. So this book wakes men up. The scales fall from their eyes and they see things for what they are. Okay. Can I read this now?
Read out loud your best.
So this is
paragraph in this book.
The Advancing Man. This is page 257.
Okay.
The Advancing Man. This is, I tell men that they should not just be good workers. So in 257, the second paragraph, the best man who is sure to advance is the one who is too big for his place and who has a clear concept of what he wants to be. Who knows what he can become, what he wants to be, and who is determined to be what he wants to be. So I quote Wallace D. Wattles in The Science of Getting Rich. He says that you can advance only by being larger than your present place. And no man is larger than his present place who lives undone any of the work pertaining to that place. He says that God cannot helping you if you act in a certain way. He must do so in order to help himself. So this is one of the concepts I tell guys about, what we call the coffin of competence, where you're given a job and you do your job so well. If you do your job so well, then it is in the best interest of your boss not to promote you because you're doing your job very well. But if you do more than your job requires, then it is in your best interest of your boss to actually promote you. So I tell guys, you should be bigger than your job description. One of the readers of Unplugged is actually a CEO of a factory in the industrial area. He says this book is mandatory reading for all the men who join employment at his workplace.
Oh,
they must all read it. Because I encourage men to go beyond and to maximize your potential. Because society has also encouraged men to be mediocre. You're told it's not that serious. So if you're doing your job and you're getting a salary, you can pay rent and eat food and take some beer and watch some football matches, you think that is it. So I encourage men to go beyond that.
Unplugged. Well, if you read this book, you get angry, as I said, don't worry. It is what is supposed to make you do. This book does not ask you to read, but it asks you to think when you read what is inside here. Jacob Aliet, Unplugged. If this book disturbed you, if this show disturbed you, this is what this show is supposed to do. It is beyond the pages. It's beyond what is written here, to make you uncomfortable, to make you think, and to make you act, or even know what to do with the information you get on the books. My name is Shiko Cosmos. This is Beyond the Pages, and see you every Wednesday at 7. And we are coming to you again from Westwood Hotel, the best hotel around, where you can sit down, have coffee, have that date, come and discuss about this book, and even do whatever thing you want to do in the hotel, like any party, book launches. It is at Westwood Hotel. Thank you so much for watching. If you need this book, you can go at Kibanga or even at my website, that's Beyond the Pages. You'll get it there. Thank you. See you next time.